Before we begin actually adding the audio into the Zombie Toys project, we first need to ensure that our audio mixers are set up correctly so that the rest of the implementation goes smoothly. As we saw previously, there are already 2 audio mixers in this project. If you look at the audio folder and then the mixers subfolder, you'll see that we have Master Mixer and Sound Effects. I'll double click on Master Mixer to see what's inside. Here I can see that Master Mixer has 2 audio groups. The first is Master and the second is Music, which will represent our background music. I also see that I have a second mixer called Sound Effects. Sound Effects has 4 audio groups, one for Master, Weapons, Player, and Enemies. What we'd like to do is we'd like to make the Sound Effects audio mixer play directly into another channel on the Master Mixer. This way, we can group all of the Weapons, Player, and Enemies audio sound effects into one group that can then be controlled through the Master Mixer so that their volume and effects will be relative to the music volume. To do this, I'm going to first start by selecting Master Mixer. Then under Groups, I'm going to select Master and click the plus icon. If I were to select Music and then click the plus icon, I'd actually create a group which was a child of the Music audio group. I don't want that to happen, however, so again, I'm going to ensure that Master is selected, and I'm going to click the plus icon. I'm going to name this new group Sound Effects. Now that I have the Sound Effects group, I have a group for my Sound Effects audio mixer to play into. To link them, I'm going to click on the Sound Effects audio mixer and click and drag it onto my Master Mixer. It's going to ask me which channel or audio group I want my Sound Effects audio mixer to play into. I want it to play into the Sound Effects audio group. Now I can see in the Mixer section that Sound Effects is a child of Master Mixer. It also says, right next to Sound Effects, that Sound Effects of Master Mixer is the target of this Sound Effects audio mixer. Now, any audio that plays in our Weapons, Player, or Enemies audio groups will be represented in the Sound Effects group on our Master Mixer. The next thing I'd like to do is I'd like to set up some snapshots. I'm going to need 2 snapshots in my game to represent full volume and no volume, as our UI menu will eventually have a toggle which allows us to turn sound on and off. To do this, I'm going to start by renaming the current snapshot. I can simply click on it and then click it again to get renaming to work, or I can right-click on it and select Rename. I'm going to name this Unmuted with a capital U and a capital M. Next, I'm going to create a new snapshot by clicking on the plus icon next to the snapshot's title, and I'm going to call this one Muted. On the muted snapshot, I'm simply going to drag the master attenuation all the way down to 0. Now, when I click between muted and unmuted, I can see my master volume is at full or at -80, which is effectively 0 volume. Now that my audio mixers are set up, in the next section we can begin adding our audio effects.